So, Gail, I'm going to turn it over to you because Jen Lowry, I highlighted her in the book. She, as a superintendent of T area, has a process for the way she recognizes. I'm going to turn it over to you to share a little bit about what Jen does in her district.
Sure. So I have been leader coach for Jennifer Lowery, Superintendent Jennifer Lowery and her team since 2020. And the unusual part about the story of our meeting was that it was the last day of normal before the pandemic. So I met her in March 2020. And as I was introducing her team to the foundations of organizational excellence, they were receiving constant text about schools closing across the state and across the nation. So one would have thought, I would have thought, that my message was lost in a much larger message that was happening at the state level and at the national level. However, 2 days later, Jen and her team had already moved to organizing the distribution of laptops to students because they knew they would be out for a certain period of time. And that's the clearest why for Jen and her team of reward and recognition. And that clarity is around what is best for the student. Yes, disruption was going to happen, but from Thursday to Monday, that distribution of laptops have happened. When Jen and I started work together, she was very clear on her order of operations, so to speak. So we began with the strategic plan, and she knew that that's where her strength was and where she wanted work to happen. But she's also a runner, a walker, a bike rider, and listens to leadership books at the time that she does those things to provide work-life balance, and knew that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So she recognized that strategy was her strength, but that culture was an area that she needed to work on. From that being the piece, she and her team naturally attached themselves with reward and recognition number 9 in order to build a foundation for organizational excellence from a cultural standpoint in order to accomplish the strategies that they had in mind over time. I'm looking to notes because we've accomplished a lot of work together. We started with values and then the creation of standards of excellence. And we spent days on this work. Sometimes that work happens in a day with districts. Other time it's very thoughtful and deliberate over time. Jen and her team, very thoughtful and deliberate over time with students to teachers to administrators to staff to board to parents to members of the community who are invested in their district. In order to execute with fidelity, they heard that message loudly and clearly. Their values, their standards of excellence, they are displayed in every classroom, in every public area of the district. And Superintendent Lowery is involved in all meetings, reinforcing the significance of reward and recognition in order to get to what T area's why of creation was, which is to become the #1 school district in the state of South Dakota. So their strategic plan, plus their execution of values with standards of excellence, have been embedded in reward and recognition programs that go from students, lunches with Lowery, that's Superintendent Lowery, recognizing students who live out values, to monthly values and standards of excellence awards for teachers, to an annual staff member standards of excellence award, which has become a big deal for their school district. Again, highly integrated reward and recognition in order to elevate their culture in order to meet the goals of their strategic plan and scorecard, which we are starting now. So what Jen knows is that reward and recognition had to be hardwired across the district. She's done the heavy lifting of that work. She's cascaded it across her district, and she knows and she knew that in order to get to that board goal and that creation goal of #1 district in South Dakota, that people were going to have to be first. And she placed that goal through the lens of the 9 principles of foundational excellence or organizational excellence, with specific reference to reward and recognition for a period of time and throughout.
Yeah, thanks so much, Gayle. Such a nice job with that. You know, I just did a podcast with her that came out as well, I think last week. And she interviewed that just she put the process with reward and recognition in ways I've not seen it occur in any other way. So and she and I have a lot in common. We're former math teachers, so we have to work at it. we have to work at that because we drive the heck out of numbers to get to a goal. So she and I've had a lot of conversations connected to that. Thank you so much.